The headline said the kiss went from a swing to a bed. What actually made it onto screen is a bathroom sink, one unbroken take, and a bite mark that was never supposed to happen. That gap, between what the title sold you and what the footage actually shows, is the real story here, not the kiss itself. At Rabbit News Hallyu, we spend a lot of time in that gap because it usually tells you more about how an industry runs than the moment it's built around. This one, tied to this summer's period drama This Second Too Much, is about as clean an example as you'll find. Here's what's actually verified. This Second Too Much is a Republic-era romantic drama starring Zhang Linghe and Wang Churan. There is no bed scene anywhere in the show. What exists is a single sequence. The male lead, Mu Rongqingyi, pins the female lead, Ren Susu, against a bathroom sink in a kiss the script frames as forced and unwelcome to her character. During filming, Wang Churan was far enough into the emotional beat that she accidentally bit down on Zhang Linghe's lower lip. The director didn't call cut. The raw, slightly blooded take made the final edit, unchanged. A second viral claim followed the first, that a curtain was literally drawn during a bed scene between the two leads. That's also not what happens. The scene in question is a restrained bedroom edge moment where director Yi Jun leans on a visual technique built from curtains, low light, and negative space rather than physical staging. Nothing explicit is shown. The tension comes from where the camera lingers and how long the actors hold a look before breaking it, a fairly deliberate directorial signature, not a euphemism for anything the footage doesn't actually contain. It's worth sitting with that for a second, because it says something about Yi Jun specifically. Directors working in this genre usually have two options when a script calls for suppressed desire: stage it explicitly and let the marketing team handle the fallout, or withhold it visually and let suggestion do the work. Yi Jun chose the second path, and the fact that headline writers still found a way to make it sound like the first tells you the gap between direction and marketing isn't accidental, it's structural. But the more interesting question isn't what happened on set. It's why a headline that misrepresents both scenes outperformed a headline that would have described them accurately. The answer sits inside how promotional content actually spreads on Chinese platforms right now. A title like Kiss from Swing to Bed isn't built to inform anyone, it's built to get a click, let the viewer discover the real scene is stranger and tamer than promised, and then let that correction do the talking. The "actually, here's what really happened" reaction travels faster than the original claim, because it reads as something the audience figured out themselves rather than something a marketing team handed them. That two-step, oversell, then let the correction go viral, is cheaper than a traditional campaign and carries more credibility, since technically the pushback is coming from viewers, not the studio. What makes the underlying moment worth keeping in the cut is that the injury itself was real. An unscripted, physically involuntary beat inside a fully fictional scene reads differently to an audience than a choreographed kiss does. Viewers can generally tell the difference between performed intensity and something that visibly slipped past an actor's control. Leaving that take in the final edit is itself a choice, and it signals a production willing to let an imperfect moment carry more weight than a clean one, which has become a recognizable instinct across period romance dramas trying to cut through a crowded release calendar. There's a second layer sitting right next to it. Behind-the-scenes footage that circulated after the episode aired shows the same two actors, playing a pairing defined by obsession and lines as extreme as a threat to skin someone alive, spending their breaks laughing and covering their faces at how their own dialogue sounded out loud. Zhang Linghe reportedly couldn't look directly at his co-star right after the sink scene wrapped. Pairing on-screen intensity with visibly embarrassed actors between takes is exactly the kind of footage productions release on purpose. It reassures an international audience that nothing crossed a line while letting the fictional tension keep doing its job unbothered. Even a small production detail fed into the same story. Zhang Linghe stands close to 190 centimeters, and the crew reportedly built the sink taller than standard so the angle of the scene would read cleanly on camera. It's a reminder of how much of what audiences experience as chemistry is actually blocking, prop height, and camera geometry, engineered by a crew that never makes the poster, but whose decisions shape every frame the fandom later turns into a meme. That detail also explains something viewers rarely think about: why the same kiss scene, if reshot with actors of different heights, would read as a completely different moment on screen. Choreography like this is closer to stunt work than romance. Then the marketing widened out into something bigger. On July 23, Zhang Linghe and Wang Churan appeared together at an official fan club event for the drama. They entered hand in hand, threw a bouquet into the audience, and at one point he lifted her in a spin before shielding her with his own body so she could adjust her dress on the way down. Media covering the event described it as barely distinguishable from a wedding. The two recreated a tango from the show, restaged a wedding dress-fitting scene, and played a blindfolded game trying to draw a heart together, while co-star He Chio reportedly watched from the side, visibly amused. It's worth being precise about what that event actually is: a staged promotional appearance built around the show's central romance, designed to let the two leads physically re-perform their characters' chemistry in front of a live crowd. That's a marketing product, not a claim about either actor's personal life, and coverage at the time was careful to frame it that way. Fans online ran with it anyway, editing event photos into mock wedding albums, pushing a phrase that translates roughly to "just do whatever you want," and treating the pairing as a shippable unit. That's a fan community interpreting a marketing event, which is a fundamentally different thing from evidence of a real relationship, and the distinction matters more than it might seem, because it's exactly the kind of gap that misleading headlines are built to exploit later. This kind of wedding-coded fan event has essentially become house style for C-drama romance marketing whenever a show's central pairing is the thing pulling in views. It hands the fandom shareable content, gives casual viewers a reason to check out clips without having watched an episode, and gives the studio a controlled alternative to letting speculation fill the silence on its own. There's a business logic underneath it too. International streaming platforms increasingly track engagement metrics like clip shares and comment velocity as signals for renewal and licensing decisions, and a live event generates exactly that kind of spike on command, in a way a normal press release never could. It's not without cost, though, and the pushback showed up almost immediately here. Some viewers argued that stacking a misleading kiss headline on top of a wedding-coded live event risks overshadowing a show that's otherwise been reviewed well for its cinematography and its sense of doomed inevitability between the two leads. When the marketing oversells the romance harder than the writing needs it to, the complaint isn't really about the event, it's that credibility gets spent faster than it gets earned back, and that's a cost productions don't always recover from once an audience starts discounting every headline by default. Zoom out, and this stops being a story about one kiss or one fan event. It's closer to a working case study in how period romance marketing currently operates across Chinese entertainment: inflate the headline just enough that the real footage underdelivers on purpose, let the correction spread on its own, then follow it with a live appearance engineered to look spontaneous. None of that is unique to this show. It's becoming close to standard practice for any drama counting on its lead pairing to carry the marketing budget. Whether that sequence ends up helping this second too much or just borrowing attention from it will likely come down to whether the writing and the performances can hold viewers once the headlines stop doing the heavy lifting, and the early critical response suggests they might be able to. There's also an international dimension worth noting, since a lot of the traffic behind this story isn't coming from domestic Chinese audiences at all. Clips of the sync scene and the fan event have circulated heavily on international fan platforms, often stripped of the context that a Chinese entertainment reporter would take for granted. Viewers outside China frequently encounter the misleading headline first and the actual scene second, sometimes days apart. That sequencing changes how the story lands. A domestic audience familiar with this kind of headline inflation tends to discount it automatically. An international audience encountering the claim for the first time doesn't have that filter yet, which is part of why the misreading spread as far as it did outside China's borders, and part of why coverage aimed at international viewers carries a specific responsibility to close that gap rather than widen it further. If you like entertainment coverage that goes past the headline, the kind that catches the quiet detail most outlets skip past, that's what Rabbit News Hallyu is built for. Subscribe if you want analysis, not just news.